published 16:59 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 7th of May 2018, updated 3:14 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 8th of May 2018. Neymar's shock move to Paris Saint-Germain last summer didn't portray Barcelona's directors in a great light. Just as he gives defenders the slip, in the blink of an eye he was gone. But Neymar's exit wasn't the first time Barca let a Brazilian sensation slip out of the hands. In the 1996-97 season, Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima scored 47 goals in 51 games with the Catalan Giants, many of them unbelievable solo efforts, in the pre-Messi and Ronaldo age where one goal every 2 games was considered the height of what a striker could achieve. Aged 20, he led Barcelona to the Copa del Rey and European Cup Winners' Cup. At times he resembled Superman among clumsy mortals. Ronaldo and Barcelona appeared to be the perfect union. But in northern Italy one man had fallen in love with the devastating forward. Inter Milan president Massimo Moratti dreamed of seeing that toothy smile beaming in blue and black stripes. For one glorious season his dreams came true. Ronaldo lifts the UEFA Cup after inspiring Inter Milan to a 3-0 victory against Lazio in the 1998 final in Paris. The Brazilian striker joined Inter for a then world record fee of £21 million after a shock departure from Barcelona in 1998. Moratti had been following Ronaldo since he was terrorizing Eredivisie defenses with PSV Eindhoven. As planning for the 1997-98 season commenced, he sought a big-name striker. His advisors suggested Gabriel Batistuta, but Moratti wanted Rony. It seemed like a madman's fantasy. Barcelona intended to build their team around the new superstar. But Moratti knew trouble was brewing in Catalonia. Barcelona made financial promises to Ronaldo during negotiations for a new contract in early spring 1997. However, when they presented him with the documents to sign a few months later, not all of those pre-agreed details were in the deal. The player felt betrayed and decided to leave. The Catalans placed a big buyout clause on the number 9, equivalent to around £21 million, and didn't expect anyone to pay it. The world record transfer fee at that time was the £15 million Newcastle paid Blackburn for Alan Shearer after Euro 96, which overtook the £13.2 million Barca handed PSV for Ronaldo himself. In the same year, he had become the best player in the world at Barcelona, but fell out with the club during negotiations over a new contract. Big spending club president Massimo Moratti pounced and brought him to Inter. He is mobbed by kids at his unveiling Herebat. Moratti swooped. It was a sad and avoidable end to the striker's first spell in Spain. All of Italy was excited to welcome the man known as O Fenomeno, the phenomenon. He had shone with every team he'd represented, and dominated the 1997 Copa America with Brazil. It was a coup for Serie A, although there was curiosity to see if he could mesmerize Italian defenses the way he did in La Liga. He more than lived up to the hype. Wearing the number 10 shirt, he displayed his remarkable blend of pace, power and skill. When he wasn't scoring, he also had the vision to create goals for teammates, and the fact he was often double or triple marked opened space for his companions, particularly Yuri Djorkaeff. Ronaldo won his first Ballon d'Or at Inter in 1998 but accidentally left the trophy in the dressing room. He was a fun-loving character, as goalkeeper Alberto Fontana finds out here, nearly always had a big smile on his face and was fond of a party. Ronaldo poses with fashion icon Giorgio Armani and his then-wife Mylene Domings at a party in Italy. He was the world's best player and won some of football's biggest trophies, but Ronaldo lost several years and some of his park to a series of serious knee injuries and arguably could have been even better. Despite the agony, he is still one of the all-time greats. Full name: Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima. Born the 18th of September 1976, Rio de Janeiro. Height 6 feet 0 in playing position, striker. Club career 1993-1994, Cruzeiro 1994 to 1996, PSV Eindhoven 1996-1997, Barcelona 1997 to 2002, Inter Milan 2002 to 2007, Real Madrid 2007-2008, AC Milan 2009 to 2011, Corinthians club honors. UEFA Cup X1, UEFA Cup Winners' Cup X1, Intercontinental Cup X1, La Liga X2, Copa del Rey X1, Spanish Super Cup X2, Brazilian Cup X2, Dutch Cup X1, Dutch Super Cup X1, International. Brazil 98 caps, 62 goals, international honors. World Cup X2, Copa America X2, Confederations Cup X1, Olympic bronze medal 1996, top individual honors. World Player of the Year X3, Ballon d'Or X2, Serie A defenders couldn't handle him. Not even Inter players escaped. Enzo Palladini, former Corriere dello Sport reporter and author of acclaimed Ronaldo biography, Paura del Buio, Fear of the Dark, reveals, occasionally in training Inter-coach Luigi Simone pitted 3 or 4 defenders against Ronaldo. They couldn't get the ball from him. Sometimes he was only allowed to move backwards, yet they still couldn't take the ball off him. Supremely talented and fun-loving, that was Ronaldo in a nutshell. During matches it was down to business, naturally, but the rest of the time he just wanted to enjoy himself. His carefree demeanor was almost as much of a trademark as his stepovers. His love for a good party led to an amusing incident with the Ballon d'Or in January 1998. Ronaldo was presented with a prize on the pitch before the home match with Juventus. Inter won the game 1-0 thanks to a Djorkaeff goal from a perfect Ronaldo pass. The Brazilian rushed off straight afterwards, without giving any interviews, because he had an event with Brazilian friends. In his haste he left the 12 kilograms golden ball, worth an estimated £11,000, in the dressing room. Ex-Inter press chief Sandro Sabatini recalls, "I received a call from Rony saying he'd forgotten his Ballon d'Or. I went to the changing room to collect it. The kit staff had put it into the big bag with all the dirty shirts, shorts and socks. We fished it out. The next day I took it to Inter HQ so the staff could have the photos taken with it. Then I drove it to our training center, where Ronaldo picked it up. It went into his lounge at home. He was so proud. It was his first Ballon d'Or. To him it was as beautiful as the Mona Lisa." Ronaldo scored 25 goals in 32 league matches, but they weren't enough to land the title. Despite Inter's cosmopolitan all-star squad, including the likes of Javier Zanetti, Diego Simeone, Ivan Zamorano, Taribo West and Aaron Winter, Juventus only lost twice and won the Scudetto by 5 points. The second clash between the sides, 4 matches before the end of the season, was controversial and the Brazilian was at the center of the acrimony. The Nerazzurri went into the game in Turin 1 point behind Juve. With the score 0-0 after 70 minutes, rugged Juventus defender Marco Giuliano barged Ronaldo over in the box, but referee Piero Cecchini waved play on. Juve eventually won the match 1-0. The Giuliano-Ronaldo incident lived on, sparking an argument in Parliament days later. That no-penalty decision is still debated now. Domestic disappointment didn't ruin the 1997-98 season for Inter, however. In Europe, the Brazilian hitman was unstoppable and delivered 2 masterpieces in the UEFA Cup. The first was an unforgettable solo goal in a snowy Russia. In the semi-final, second leg away to Spartak Moscow, on a terrible pitch which had more mud and sand than grass, Ronaldo received the ball from a throw-in and after a 1-2, beat the home defense and rounded the keeper at ridiculous speed. That pearl won the game 2-1, and was a 9-second demonstration of his brilliance. There was more to come. His goal in the UEFA Cup final in Paris against Lazio showcased his classic step-over technique. Sprinting towards goal, Ronaldo's shimmy bamboozled goalkeeper Luca Marchigiani. All that remained was to stroke the ball into the unguarded net, in a hugely controversial incident that went some way to deciding the title race in 1998. Ronaldo was denied a penalty despite this robust challenge by Marco Giuliano. Didier Deschamps' battles with Ronaldo's Juve won the game and the Scudetto. Right, the no-penalty award was so hot it argued that it even led to a fight among deputies in the Italian parliament. Ronaldo uses his trademark stepovers to bamboozle Lazio keeper Luca Marchigiani before scoring into an empty net during the 1998 UEFA Cup final. It was the only trophy he won in Italy, as his career became blighted by serious injuries to supersonic striker tortured Lazio that night. He made Alessandro Nesta's life a nightmare. Winning the UEFA Cup exactly a year after leading Barcelona to the Cup Winners' Cup gave the season a positive finish. French midfielder Benoit Cœuré joined Inter at the same time as Ronaldo. "It was fantastic to play with him because he was the best in the world," says Corey. But he was also humble. He loved being with his teammates, loved joking around. He had grown up with pressure. Don't forget he was in the 1994 World Cup squad as a teenager. Perhaps you could say he didn't live the life of a perfect athlete, but you have to put yourself in his situation, being so young and living in a city like Milan. We never begrudged his approach to lifestyle because he was such a nice guy. It's impossible not to love Ronaldo. As for that night in Moscow in the 1998 UEFA Cup semi-final, Corey says the match should have been called off after 3 minutes. The pitch was appalling. We were all sinking in the mud. Not Ronnie though, he was from another world. The next campaign he switched to the number 9 shirt at Inter and the marketing machine went into overdrive. The extraordinary was expected every match and the pressure increased. There were still moments of outrageous skill, but there were also serious injuries. A series of horrific knee injuries halted Ronaldo in his prime. His comeback in 2000 ended in agony after just 7 minutes. Between August 1999 and May 2002, the Brazilian only played 24 matches due to chronic knee problems. The 2001 campaign was a complete write-off. He never hit the heights of his debut season again. Ronaldo's time at Inter ended in recrimination in the summer of 2002. He couldn't see eye to eye with disciplinarian coach Hector Cooper. A standoff developed and President Moratti backed the tough Argentine trainer over R9. He joined Real Madrid after leading Brazil to World Cup glory, and anti-Ronaldo feeling was fervent across Italy. Accusations of ingratitude were rife, but, just like in Moscow, the mud didn't stick. With the passing of time, all has been forgiven and memories of that first season will live forever. There is only one word: phenomenal. Ronaldo's injury hell ended with glory and redemption at the 2002 World Cup, but it soon led to his exit from Inter. Ronaldo rebuilt his club career at Real Madrid after the 2002 World Cup, becoming one of the famous Galacticos. The Inter Milan team that won the 1998 UEFA Cup final was an all-star cosmopolitan lineup bought at great expense by owner Massimo Moratti. The team, including those named on the substitutes bench, that beat Lazio in the final in Paris featured 10 different nationalities. Such an international side was very uncommon at the time. Despite the great expense, the UEFA Cup was the biggest trophy the club won in the era. The Inter team celebrate victory in the Parc des Princes dressing room. Top row, from left, Diego Simeone, Fabio Galante, Salvatore Fresi, Gianluca Pagliuca, Raffaele Nuzzo, did not play in final, Giuseppe Bergami, did not play in final, Zé Elias. Bottom row, Yuri Djorkaeff, Aaron Winter, Ivan Zamorano, Javier Zanetti, Francesco Colonis.